It's a wonderful joy to be able to do the Lord's work in such a wonderful community. Holy Family Academy has a particular vision of the human person, which is formed by our Catholic faith. Because of that, we look to see the development of the child, body, mind, and soul, which is why every school day begins with daily Mass. The children come to church and participate in the Holy Eucharist as their way of beginning with contact with God.
I'm struck by how happy the kids at school are. I remember there was a moment when Joe was in kindergarten. He was our only kid in school there. I'd gone to pick them up and I was waiting and I saw all the kids coming out of school and they all had huge smiles on their faces and they were being so good, but they were so happy. And I remember thinking, this is my favorite thing that I spend my money on.
What I find really appealing is just how good and respectful and responsible the kids are, all of them, from pre-K up to 8th grade. And then there's just this gentleness, especially for the older grades, in how they lead the younger kids.
What's special about teaching at Holy Family Academy is that we're seeking to form students to become saints. And we seek to do that by teaching them the transcendentals. In history and Latin, we search for truth in what came before us. We look for goodness in the lives of those who came before us, and this gives the students an example of virtue. And then in Latin, we get to experience the beauty of the Latin language. When they're finally going out into the world, they can see how is this related? How I'm supposed to live as a citizen, how is that impacted by events that have happened in history? So it helps students to connect the dots and see the big picture.
Families are coming to the school because the Catholic faith is so important, and in the Montessori preschool, we do the Catechism of the Good Shepherd, which teaches the kids their faith, how to live it. We started in the preschool level and it goes all the way up to 8th grade, and the kids leave here with a good understanding of the world as it really is.
I think Holy Family does a really nice job in incorporating virtue into the actions of the students. It forms their minds well. It trains their memories. So like the faculties of the soul, like the memory, the intellect, and the will, all of those are formed by Holy Family in a really beautiful way. The things that we choose, the texts that we give them to memorize, those things will form them, for their entire life.
We've been blessed to be able to have smaller class sizes so that I can teach each child individually, one-on-one. And the kindergartners all learn one poem a month, and then they are able to go and do a poetry recitation to the lower school. And so they're learning presentation skills. They're also filled with the virtue that they're going to need to be like a shining light to our world.
During Lent, we do this We Share program where we raise money for a particular family. I've learned also about leadership through our virtue families.
I've learned how to be a friend. Friendship is not always about receiving, but also being there for people when they need you. They really form you in virtuous ways so that when you graduate, you're not just having the experience of learning things, but also the life experiences of how to be what God created you to be.